This is Climate to Action, a CSUSM student podcast. My name is Saturn Salama. I am a second year double major in literature and writing and theater. I'm here because I believe climate justice might just save our lives. Climate to Action is here to amplify voices and explore solutions in the fight against climate change and to address climate injustice for all living things. We are committed to incorporating discussions on Indigenous knowledge in addressing the climate crisis and to provide a call to action in every episode. But first, we'd like to acknowledge that our recording studio is located on the traditional territory of the Luiseño Payacuicham people. CSUSM and its surrounding areas are still home to the 6 federally recognized bands the La Jolla, Paula, Palma, Pachenga, Rincon, and Saboba Luiseño Payacuicham people. It's also important to acknowledge that this land remains the shared space among the Cupeño, Kumeyaay, and Ipai peoples. Today's episode is focused on CSUSM's campus and sustainability initiatives. We are delighted to introduce a special guest, the ASI Sustainability Representative for the 2024-2025 school year. Let's give a warm welcome to Ashleigh Skarshaug.
Thank you so much for having me.
Please tell us a bit about yourself and when did you first hear about climate change and climate action?
Absolutely. So my name is Ashleigh Skarshaug. I'm a third year here on campus, double majoring in criminology and political science. I first heard about climate justice and climate change probably back when we all did, when like kindergarten, when you learn how to recycle for the first time. And honestly, ever since, I've just had a really big passion for it, and the drive has just never ended.
Sick. So, what initially drew you to being the ASI Sustainability Representative? Because that's a big role. That's a role in student government. So, it goes beyond just like recycling. So, what impact were you hoping to make by being the ASI Sustainability Representative?
That's a really good question. So originally, I got into ASI as a whole in our lobby corps volunteer opportunity back on my second year here on campus. And that's honestly when I found out what ASI was. And so I was just really inspired just to take on not just a leadership role, but something that I was passionate about, being sustainability. Like I said, I've been very passionate about it low key since day one, or more high key since day one. And it's just been such a great adventure being the ASI sustainability representative, from learning what the position does to doing the position to actually sitting there and sitting on those committees, having a vote, having a voice, telling them the concerns that students had. It was not only inspiring for me, but very much continued to educate me in a sustainability and environmental consciousness.
Could you tell us a bit more about what the ASI Sustainability Representative does on a day to day?
Yeah, absolutely. So we sit on the board of directors, which means that we hold office hours. So me personally, my office hours were every Monday and Wednesday. And it was So what we would do in our office hours is really like check our emails, respond to students. We would make sure that we're up to date on things that are going on campus, whether that's initiatives that are happening, events, etc. And then every Friday or one a Friday every month, we would have our board of directors meeting, where it was a committee where all of the board of directors and our entire exec team was there. And we would have either action items, presentations brought in for us, or even just students at large coming in to voice their concerns. And we would sit there, take notes, vote if we had to, just be informed students to really give back to our community. And then another thing that the ASI Sustainability Representative does is we oversee and chair the the Sustainability Projects Fund Committee, which is a committee where we oversee a budget of $10,000 funded by the students for student-led initiatives with sustainability specifically. And it's honestly just incredible to be able to have had this opportunity and to be able to continue sharing more about it.
Yes, can you tell us a bit more about that $10,000 sustainability fund. That's a lot of money. Like, what projects did that committee decide to support, and what outcomes are you most proud of?
So just some projects off the top of my head would be the Milpa Hub. They've been on campus for a couple years now. We just funded them, I want to say last week. And then we also funded hydroponics, which we will start seeing both of these more emerge on campus next semester or the following semester. I'm very excited to see how they choose to spend these funds. I'm very much giving them, or the committee is very much giving them like free will onto where they want to put these funds. We did give them like specified things on, what we can and can't fund, just regarding like logistics. Um, so I'm really excited to see the Milpa Hub honestly like come more to life. They have such an amazing community. I went and visited them the other day and there were so many people out there planting plants, eating food, just laughing and really having like such a bond, and it was just so amazing to see.
Could you tell me a bit more about hydroponics? What is that?
So hydroponics is kind of like a method of growing plants without using soil. So it uses more of a nutrient rich water instead. The ones that we funded specifically, I think they're going to have wheels and be like moved around.
Cute.
Yeah, it's going to have different plants. I'm very excited. I don't know if they're going to be like vegetables or fruits or anything. So definitely keep in touch. Maybe we'll find out soon.
Okay. Could you tell me a bit more about what your committee was funding, like who they decide to fund?
Yeah, so we have like guidelines to follow when we're deciding like what projects to fund. But the first thing that happens is a student applies to the fund during the application
Does
period.
it have to be a student?
It does,
Okay.
yes. So it's a student, and then they have to have a co advisor of a staff or faculty member. But the whole point of SPF is really to have a student led initiative. So it's just really like we're giving back the money that students are giving to ASI. We're really just like always bringing it back to the students. And so during the application process, they'll apply and we get the applications, and then we have our meeting, our SPF meeting with the entire committee there, all of our advisors, and they have the option to come in and present if they want, whether that's just coming in with like a little speech or coming in with a presentation like Canva slides, super
Mm.
fancy. It's really up to them. So then our committee goes into these things called a closed session where we just ask everyone to leave the room, and except for the committee and the advisors, and then we go over the guidelines of SPF and whether or not we can fund it, how much we want to allocate to that project. We really just leave it up to the committee members. As the chair, I don't vote necessarily on these committees. However, I do just really oversee and kind of move the conversation along, just to really make sure it's effective.
So true. Looking ahead, how do you plan to carry your experience with sustainability and student advocacy to your future career?
That's a really good question. Actually, this summer I have an internship abroad.
Ooh.
Yes, to work with a sustainability project in Belgium, and I'm very excited. So that's like the most recent thing that I'm going to be doing. And then just I'm definitely going to continue this passion I've had for so long, and I will just honestly continue with that path. And student advocacy wise, I became the communications officer for the pre-law society. So that's what I will be doing next school year. And yeah, I'm honestly just excited to see where the path takes me. I'm just going to keep following it down.
Yes, sounds awesome. I can't wait to see what you do and how you incorporate sustainability into, yeah, your future plans. Why do you think sustainability should be a student issue, not just a campus operations issue?
I think it should be a student issue because we're not the future generation, we're the current generation. We're the current generation that can make change, and we should be making change. Just if we see anything. Our friend doesn't recycle something, we should call them out. There's little things in our day-to-day lives that we could be doing. I'm not expecting everyone to go swimming in the ocean and pick up trash. That'd be amazing if you do, but there's little things in your day-to-day life that you could be doing. And as the ASI sustainability rep, that's something that I really tried to just push out there to students is like being sustainable isn't necessarily hard. It could just be I recycled my Starbucks cup. I threw the ice down the sink and then I threw away the cup. It could be anything. It could be I actually didn't even get a Starbucks cup. I used my reusable cup this morning. It could be really anything. I walk to school.
Yeah. Is something you want to talk about?
I also serve currently as the Vice President of Philanthropy and Service for the Greek Leadership Council. And within that, I oversee one volunteer opportunity for everyone in Greek life to be able to participate in, just that has to do with service. And all of my future initiatives when it comes to planning these service events is really trying to focus on sustainability efforts, whether that's like a clothing drive or going and cleaning up like a national, no, cleaning up like a lake or the beach or just a park. It could be anything. That's very much like what my focus is going to be on, though. And yeah, so that's another way that I'm trying to, not trying to, but going to be continuing my sustainable efforts on campus and elsewhere.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. In every episode of our podcast, we have a call to action. We like to ask our guests their thoughts about what our listeners can do to positively impact our community. What are some simple things people can do to help address the climate crisis?
Honestly, right now, with the influx of AI in our day to day lives, I've been seeing it everywhere, not only in our classrooms, but like even on like TV shows and movies, you'll have like that AI guide in the corner. Please don't use AI, guys. Um, it's really harmful to the environment. It uses a high energy consumption. It has a high energy consumption, especially during like its model training. So especially when it comes to things like Chat GPT, just try and stay away from it. Turn off the AI search on Google if you can. I have. Yeah, that's honestly my biggest suggestion, especially just where the world is going now with artificial intelligence.
Yeah,
Let's try our hardest to avoid that if we could. There's other ways around it. If you have a question, you could Google it.
absolutely. And thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Climate to Action. Remember, whether it's through learning more, making sustainable choices, or advocating for change, every step counts. Keep taking action, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for being on our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me and for listening.
Want to hear more from Climate to Action, a CSUSM student podcast? Listen wherever you get your podcasts and follow us on our socials at Climate to Action. For Instagram and YouTube, that's at Climate to Action. For TikTok, that's at Climate number 2 Action. Visit for updates, behind the scenes content, and more. Finally, Climate to Action wants to remind you to take climate action. We challenge you to take the first step in your own climate journey. Like Ashleigh suggested, maybe let's stop using AI. Let's transform our climate curiosity into climate action together. Remember, every small change can make a big impact when we work collectively. Climate to Action is produced at Inspiration Studios on the CSUSM campus and is funded through a generous donation from the Rosemary Kramer Rate Foundation. Until next time, this is Saturn from Climate to Action signing off.